Hello, and welcome to Episode 1 of World War II Indiana Landmarks. I'm Ron May, the author of this book. We'll begin this exploration of landmarks in the northern tier of the state. Our focal point today is the city of Munster in the northwest corner of Indiana, close to Illinois and Chicago. Here you will find the Community Veterans Memorial in Munster, an expansive 9-acre park that commemorates U.S. involvement in the major wars of the 20th century. My focus will be on the World War II section of the park. Moving past the flagpoles at the park's entrance, visitors encounter the History Trail timeline, composed of individual bricks which wrap around the park's walkway, identifying key dates and events that led up to each war. The World War II section of the park consists of 3 displays: European Theater, Pacific Theater, and the Home Front. This is the statue for the European Theater of World War II, which transports the visitor back to the landing beaches of Normandy, France. Here, the visitor sees the horrified face of an Army radio man who has just landed on Omaha Beach. He is kneeling beside one of the steel beach obstacles the Germans placed across the shoreline to hinder the Allied landings. The radio man is shouting out an order or calling out in urgency for assistance. He holds his rifle in his left hand. It is pointed inland toward the enemy. His right arm is extended outward. In grotesque fashion, a mutilated arm seems to drop from under his top arm, suggesting some horrific damage to his appendage. Visiting this memorial is an immersive and visceral experience. Visitors see and even feel the horror of combat as they gaze at the contorted faces and bodies of those depicted in life-size bronze statues, and view the laser-etched images in granite slabs near the set statues. Behind the soldier are items that have fallen to the sand in the aftermath of the landing's carnage: a pair of combat boots, and hands rising from the sand, grasping at items that have dropped. For the Pacific Theater exhibit, the tail of a P-51 fighter plane is tilted down and embedded into the concrete outcropping to convey a crash. A lone Marine in full combat gear kneels at the base of the triangular slab. His arm is reaching out with concern and compassion toward a single hand, presumably of the downed pilot, protruding from a crack in the slab. It is a moving scene, reminding us of the war's cost in human lives. Off to the side of the European and the Pacific Theater displays is the Homefront Monument. A tan-colored cement structure curves toward the European and Pacific memorials. The structure is the artistic shape of a mother's arms, a great mother archetype reaching out toward her sons and daughters caught in the overseas combat. In the center of the cement structure is a large bronze plate of a woman dressed in factory clothes and wearing a bandana. She symbolizes the more than 6 million women who worked in factories and mills, producing the necessary war products. She faces a circular opening in the concrete structure and looks out toward the steel mill cities beyond which once produced the essential material for war. In her sightline are the large flagpoles flying the national ensign and the service flags of the armed forces at the park's entrance. Around the woman are bronze, handwritten letters and excerpts etched in granite that pay tribute to women's losses and contributions in the war effort. During World War II, the steel mills of northwest Indiana were some of the largest and most important factories that produced the precious metal so necessary for building tanks, jeeps, ships, weapons, mess kits, and other products of war. That the production figures continued and even increased throughout World War II, when so many male workers were sent off to war, depended largely on the influx of women who took jobs in the steel mills and became part of the legendary community of Rosies. World War II veteran Ray McDonald, a native of nearby Gary, Indiana, missed the carnage of combat depicted in these World War II memorials, but he did not avoid the war. In July 1946, McDonald left to serve with the U.S. occupation forces in Japan. He was stationed at an Army air base on Hokkaido Island, part of the 5th Air Force. He worked in the headquarters building in the officers' classification, maintaining officers' records. While there, McDonald witnessed Japanese citizens of a defeated imperial nation attempting to recover and rebuild following the end of a cataclysmic war. He served in Japan from August 1946 to April 1947. Learn more about the Community Veterans Memorial in Munster and McDonald's service story in my new book, World War II Indiana Landmarks, available now on my website or in stores where books are sold. And while on my website, check out my trilogy of Indiana World War II veteran service stories. Thanks for tuning in to this episode.